Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's stream. So we are nearing the finish line on the Behemoth project. We are getting so much closer to being done. The project is almost, we've put a lot of time into this Battlestar. As we close what's almost been a 2.5 month project, we are nearing the finish line with it, but I don't think we're gonna make it. So last week we did a lot. We did about half the ship into the grime. And now this week we get to undo a little bit of that as we kind of put those final finishing touches onto the ship. Now with those finishing touches, I wound up making a little bit of extra work for myself because I decided, the ship's got to have a base to stand on, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. Hey, Angus, how's it going? Good morning from the UK. Oh man, what time is it over there? It's got to be like early morning for you guys, isn't it? So as I was saying, I've grimed it all. Now we got to do a little bit of degriming to kind of finish out the way the grime work looks. And then once that's done, we have pretty much finished how we're painting it. Then it's going to be wrapping up the stand, which you can kind of see the pegs sitting here. And then putting on the last for the guns on the bottom, a little last minute grime work, one little touch up of paint for the symbol. And I'm calling the Pegasus done. Oh, 1:22 in the morning. Ew, man. So either you went to bed and have woken up, or you're still going the other way, going a long way around. Hopefully you've had some sleep and waking up now, but we'll see, man. But I've got a base that you guys are gonna, I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. I love the idea it looks, because this is a Battlestar that's been in space. It's been out there for a long time. The dry docks are destroyed. She's just had to suffer. Now, kind of the thing I was kind of thinking too, I was like, what about the Ghost Fleet? Those ships weren't maintained. They weren't put in the dry docks. They were thought destroyed. They just weren't cleaned up. So maybe this ship was in that line. Who knows? So, but if we switch over here, you guys can see the grime level is real. She went from shiny silver to yuck. The guns, everything's been grimed. The panel line stuff has all been put into it. So, oh man, Angus, that's, wow. That would make sleep scary. But you guys can see we went from, well, I haven't done it to the bottom yet, so we can kind of flip over. We went from that beauty to that grime. And we're going to clean up the grime. And then towards the end of the stream, we are going to go back and do some more work on this guy. This resin 3D print. I want to try to get the Zerg kind of painted out some more. I'm working on the creep base for it. So lots of stuff in progress. I need to do some final sanding on our next ship that will start next year. Probably as we wrap out the next stream with the final shots of this, we will start with the new ship, which right now, according to the poll, is looking like the Enterprise E. But it may have something knocking it out of the running, because I am attempting a print of a Babylon 5 White Star. Or maybe they go in tandem to each other. I don't know yet. So we're working on, I don't know if the White Star print's going to come out. Now, usually the Mega 8Ks are pretty darn solid for me, but I just kind of got to wait and see if the print will come out. So fun going on, but we need to kind of degrime the ship a little bit. So the grime is an enamel. So it's not an acrylic, it's an enamel paint. It's an enamel effect over the acrylic. Now, what I did is I did a clear coat matte varnish underneath this, and then I grimed it. So I should be able to wipe away a lot of the grime with our handy odorless mineral spirits and just a cotton swab. So I'm gonna put some gloves on. Oops, I moved them. And we're going to do that first, and then we're going to talk about this base. So because it's all about that base, man. And the base, it is a imperfect print. So I'm going to say that outright. It is imperfect, but I kind of fell in love with it that way. Oh shoot, I'll show you. So the base is the actual Battlestar insignia. This has just got a primer and this base coat, rust, burnt metal, but it had a lot of anomalies in the ironing level that didn't come out well. And I was like, well, maybe I should just reprint it and fix it. And then I thought about it, I was like, again, this ship's been in space, it's seen war, it's seen combat, the metal's gonna be pitted and warped. So I decided to leave the base that way. And I took 2 dowel rods and I've got in here and I've got to drill the holes into the bottom of this. This is why we will probably see this ship one more stream after this as we take it to the finish line. And we'll get this up underneath and get this on there, get the 4 guns on the bottom, and then we're calling this one done. And it will go out on the Shopify site for purchase. So, as in it needs to leave my home. But let's start with the mineral spirits, because that is kind of the prime objective here. I don't think I have what I need to open it, unfortunately. There we go. All right, and what I'm going to do, and I'm going to switch the view. I'm going to bring you to the side view here. This is actually kind of a very rewarding part of the process. You just get some mineral spirits on your cotton swab, and you just start coming across the model. Whoops, I do not want to break a gun. And it kind of pulls, you see it here, it's pulling some of that grime back up out of the print. And it'll start revealing some of that metal again. And it's going to give a contrast to the plate and pick that back up out. So we can make that streak. Now, one of the things with the streak of this, the ship moves forward, so the streaking actually is left to right, where a lot of other models it is top to bottom. So that kind of gives a bit of a challenge to this. It's all just how you wipe the cotton swab across the model to create that streak. And now I'm only going to do some of this on here, but it really does change the feel of how the model looks. Actually, if I was smart, I would turn this around so you guys can see a better shot of it. And tonight, no spilled bottles. Not doing that. Doing everything in my power not to spill a bottle. So let's turn this around so you can kind of see a bit more of what I'm talking about. We'll go down the hammerhead tonight. I'll do the rest off camera. So, but be prepared to go through some cotton swabs. Some people use Q-tips for this too. Through some of these smaller plates, I'll probably get the Q-tips out and do that as well. But it's just getting your cotton swab with some mineral spirits on it and then wiping across the plates. And it will pick up some of that grime that was applied back up out of the model. And really kind of change the tone a little bit of how it applied. You can see how it's kind of starting to change the panels. The grime is coming off into the cotton swab. Not a lot, and that's what I don't want a lot to come off, but I want it to just change the coloration a little bit of the panel. I want the grime to definitely sit more in the creases and at the edge. And that's kind of what I'm doing, and it's giving a toned look to the plates. And you can see from the cotton swab, I mean, we were white, we're pulling grime off to really kind of give that effect. And the nice thing is the varnish is there to protect the undercoat. Sometimes you get a little too much in there. You got to come in with a dry cotton swab and kind of peel it up and pick up the excess. But it just kind of gives a, you don't have to do it to every panel, just do it to some of the panels. And it gives a nice effect that I personally love when it comes to making this thing look beat up, weathered, different tones, different ways it's been hit and heated, is really kind of neat. And the varnish, that's the nice thing about the varnish, the base coat that's underneath all this is secure. Oh, excuse me, is secured and can't get pulled off the model. So that is always kind of a good perk of mineral spirits, is you're not going to pull that varnishing back off. So, and it's just taking some time, moving around, kind of rubbing in spots to pull back that grime layer off and get that underlaying done back into view. But it does just change the beauty of the model. And really kind of takes that smeared look back and pull it back into the front here. And really kind of lock in that undercolor. And you can see just kind of how it's changing the look. And it's going to take a while to go. You can do, so if you grimed it and you want to pull off a bunch of the grime, it's going to take you a while. I'm not after pulling off a ton of the grime. I want just certain areas that I want to pull it back off, like in the central parts of the plates, more than anywhere. Then I'll dry this, look it over, come back, put some more highlights back in probably to kind of finish the look. And then, like I said, I'm going to call her done. Let's get some of the Q-tips here and kind of start going through some of the smaller areas. Get into some more of the detail here. So how's everybody's holiday? The fair question of anybody that's on the stream tonight, because we just all kind of went through the Christmas season. Hopefully the hobby Santa Claus was good to you. Whoops. Where did the stray gun go? I don't want to break another one of them. I only have 4 painted ones left, so better not lose them. But you can see how it kind of, and I don't know if the light's really letting you see it, but it does kind of give a two-tone to the plate itself, and lets it really kind of pull in not only the grime that's there, but just also that beautiful lead belcher underpinning that's there too, that we started with as the initial base color. It's just a matter of time, process. That's something I do run into with people, just get tired of doing this. And you only have to do it as much as you want. I mean, especially if this is a model that you're keeping for yourself, you go as far or as much as you want to go. There is no right or wrong answer here. It's just creating a level of detail that gives the ship a little bit more authenticity. Now, if you want a prim, beautiful, it's just been out of the shipyard look, then don't do this. Oh, glad you had a good Christmas, Angus. That's always an important thing. I'm getting the gift of time with my daughter. She is luckily letting me have time to come down here and do this stuff with you guys. It will be only an hour-long stream tonight, because I want to go spend more time with her. But I want to get through kind of taking away some of the grime to kind of give that look, show you guys kind of the technique. And then I want to get some work done on Space Marine, because I think once I add in the Zerg and then start coming in with the grays and dark silvers and the gold on the pod, that model is just going to start to pop. Really excited about that model. That one's been I always like StarCraft Space Marines. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to go through every panel. You just kind of pick where you want. Maybe it's a new panel or a newer panel than other sections of the ship. It's just kind of your determination of where do I want to make this look really, really clean. And I know the sound has to be horrible. I am all the scraping and all that stuff that I'm doing here, but it just gives a tone to the ship that just makes it pop. And just gives it that extra little touch. Yeah, this is just a generic odorless mineral spirits and the enamel grime. Because it's an enamel on top of the varnish, it will release. Now, you can't do this and let it sit for, like a month and then expect it to release. But most of this has only been here a day, and it's had enough time to set and then come in and start to kind of pull it off. But the mineral spirits does a really good job. You could try paint thinner, a different type of paint thinner, but the mineral spirits just works. It just works really well. To give it that little bit of pop. And like I said, I'm just kind of picking and choosing where to run the Q-tip over to kind of pull that color back. And kind of just change how it looks. And just kind of give it a different feel. And it kind of pulls the newness back, but it also keeps that old beaten look to it. You know, the ship has been out there, it's gotten dirty, it's gotten grimed, and it just really kind of makes a really kind of just a wearing appearance to it. But also, if you grimed and you don't like it, you can pull a lot of it out with the mineral spirits if you act quickly. All right, pretty much gone down the side that I wanted to get. I'm going to flip it over, get the other side. We may actually have this part done tonight, which be a little bit ahead of my schedule, which is great. That means we can spend more time working on the base. So but yeah, Christmas was good. Again, coming up on February 11th and 12th, I'll be at the Animazicon. So if you're in the Savannah, North Carolina, or any of that region, come on out and see us. That's going to be a fun experience. It'll be the first time I've taken the channel to anything like that, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We're a little channel, we're not big, but we've got all kinds of stuff going on. And if you're watching the playback or you're watching live, consider joining our membership. That's out there to help fund filaments, resins, all that kind of stuff to keep the channel going. Shaka, it was our first member, so I want to definitely say thank you to him. I got a few emails I need to reply to from him, but it is greatly appreciated if you join the membership and help us out to help fund these awesome projects that are coming along. Just wow. I can't believe how when I first took this Pegasus on, I was like, I'm never going to finish it. And here we are almost to the finish line with it. I'm really kind of ecstatic to have it done and possibly see this one go to someone who will love to have it. And also, if you haven't and you're new here, subscribe. Get more cool content like this, as we got some Star Trek ships coming up at the beginning of the year. Possibly a Babylon 5 White Star, which will be a weird paint job because their green and purples are very weird for that ship. So that one's going to definitely be a challenge. I've got a screen protector coming for the screens in front of me here. Then we can open up this box and get the airbrush out and really kind of speed up some process as we sit here and work on models. But you guys can just kind of see how, I don't even know if the camera is really showing it that well, how well the grime is kind of peeling away to start revealing some more of that undercoated silver that we had in here prior. and kind of start really kind of giving that stream look back, that streak look to it. All in all, though, I think as far as a challenge of doing this model, it was definitely a challenge. So I'm used to doing like Federation starships and stuff like that are, clean and proper lined, and drive you nuts because if you get out of the line, you're you're struggling to fix it and stuff like that. This one's kind of been meant to be grimed out and messed with and messed up and different. All right, we'll do some more work to the shuttle pod. I think as far as degriming goes, I think I'm about to call this. I'm actually pretty in love with how it looks. All right. I'm going to do some more down here on the flight pod. And I'm going to call the degriming at that point good. I don't want to make her too clean. Some more Q-tips. And I know, like I said, I don't think the camera picks up the different color variation of what I'm doing here very well, but it does, like I said, it does really change the aspect of the panels, especially since I'm trying to stay away from all the interior lines and stay in the core of the panel. So the grime stays to the outside and you've got a cleaner inner panel or a dirtier inner panel. Hey Don, how's it going? We're nearing the finish line with it, man. We're getting there. Really kind of getting that last little bit of detail into her. Happy New Year, man. Yep, this is the last stream of the year, boys. Because I will be leaving town on Friday. Maybe can sneak one in tomorrow night. We will see. We will see. But right now, this is the last one for this year. Because I will be, like I said, I'm heading out of town Friday morning and won't be back till the new year. Like I said, the critical step to this even being successful is after I did all the base painting, I came in with the varnish. Gave it that varnish coat to seal all of that in. That way this grime would come off with the mineral spirits and not damage any of the underlayers. Because that's the last thing we want, is to damage something we worked really hard to already paint. That would really suck. So but like with Federation starships and that, I don't really mess with this grime. Very, very little would I mess with it. The only time I would even touch really griming is Klingons. That is the only time I would grime or degrime a ship, is a Klingon warship, especially the birds of prey. Otherwise, I just left them as they were. This ship is definitely put my skills taxed my skill set. Printing it, that's easy. Painting it, that wasn't so easy. But you guys can see, well, some of the magnets are not back in their position. You can see kind of how that has changed the way the grime layer looked. It's giving it the shine underneath its back. Of course, that battle damage is still there. The rust streaks are in there. It just really kind of changes the whole way this ship looks. Get my gun back on there. It's not flat grime. It's got silvers. It's got the colors all in it. You've got rust in certain areas all over the hull. I mean, it just changes the look. Now, one thing I will be doing tomorrow is griming the bottom, because I just haven't had time to do that, and I got to drill the holes for the new stand that this ship will inhabit. So as far as degriming, I think that's as far as I'm going to go. I need to do some work here. I will do that off camera and get the Battlestar emblem there, and then I need to figure out the name. But that'll be something we do next week, as one of the last pieces that we do is we name it before we take this out and it gets put on my Shopify site. So I am going to set this aside. And bring on this mess. So this is the base that I'm working on. And I've still got to do some fix-it work here at the posts. It is a failed print because it didn't fill properly, that this stuff didn't sit. And you can see the bumps in the material and stuff. That was all caused by heat issues during the print. But I didn't want to throw this away. I looked at it, I was like, this ship's out in space. It's beaten up, damaged. Why should the stand look pristine, right? So this is something that I am working on. I've got to strengthen this side. This side is iron tight. Drill the holes so the ship can sit down on it. And then I have this nice space here that I could actually put the ship's name or whatever ID number, but I want to paint this. I want to bring this into it. I want to go red, and then I want to pull yellows and golds in the center here. So we've got to paint this piece. I'll switch over to this. You guys can really kind of see the damage there where it's, you know, didn't fill in properly here. And it just didn't come out very well. But I didn't want to throw it away. I want to keep using it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find my wet palette. And I'm going to do a brushed on underlayer of the reds. And for that, we did this in the AK Wine Red, is the red of the Battlestar, and that's what we're gonna do for this red outline. So I'm gonna get a good amount of that on the palette. I'm gonna get a decent sized brush, and we're gonna start brushing this in place over this gray. Now, if I masked it off and airbrushed it, yes, it would go a lot faster. But I purposely want the brush strokes. I want the strokes in there. I want it to look not perfect. I want it to have a distressed appeal to it. Yes, the base is an FDM print as well. So the only thing that was resin on the ship was the guns. Everything else is FDM. I'm actually going to release a video Friday talking about fillers and how to get good ways to get good chemicals and other additives you can use to get rid of layer lines. That's coming out on Friday. Like the Bondo Glaze is a good way to get rid of layer lines. Vallejo filler putty, the Tamiya putties all work really well, especially if you do it in a pre-sanding. And I'm also going to talk about, you know, when you put these glazes and fillers on, you may want to consider, before you put them on, a varnish. That way you could do a decent wet sanding once they're on to really kind of help the smoothing process. Now, FDM has a ton of rinse and repeat when you're doing the paint like that. It can be tedious where a lot of resin, it's not as much sanding. You can get away with the Mr. Polisher tool a lot more, and different things like that. But this, normally I would have just discarded this piece, but it's sung to me. The light is not helping because it's a glossy undertone paint. It sung to me that, you know, I've got this distressed warship. It's not a pristine beauty like what I would be like if I did the Mobius kit. It's not that kind of a build. I'll switch here. It's a little bit better lighting. You can see that red starting to take the accent and get in there. And get really pulled in here. I'm going to go through the center symbol, and then we'll kind of play with some of the yellows. I may actually come in with a brown first. That way I can lay the yellow on top and possibly get some more better effect. But honestly, like here, I don't even really care about the brush strokes that much. I don't care if they show through, because it's, to me, it pulls a good distressing look, which is what this base is going to need. But I am excited to put this one out here, get it out for sale. Make somebody a happy owner of a Battlestar Galactica themed ship. And then I'll take a couple coats to really kind of bring that red out. What's cool about that, I appreciate it, Don. I am still very much a novice against some of the people that I talk with and work with. Highlander424 out on Instagram. Go check out his miniature stuff, man. He is amazing. What he can do with a face of a 28 millimeter miniature is crazy. He's a really good friend of mine. He helps me out with with some of the projects, with giving me tips and ways of doing it too, especially when I get stumped. He's been teaching me for over the last year how to improve my painting. Um, and the number one thing I can tell you about improving your painting is take your time. Time. And your painting is done when you're happy with it. Don't let others criticize it. When you're happy with it, you're done with it. That always keep that in mind, because I was one of those people, oh, it's just never good enough. I need to do this. I need to do this. If you're happy with the way it looks, you're done. That's simple. Because that mindset used to lead me to a bunch of unfinished projects. But and Don, I'll reply to your email here shortly too. I've kind of taken the week off from the email, unfortunately, but I do have a solution for your Beagle Cam. And it's not something you do with the Beagle Cam. It's actually your router. You have to allow it to be seen from outside. But I can give you some pointers on how to get that done with your Beagle Cam. Because honestly, models is the reason why I got into this. Like micro machines, they don't make them no more. But I loved my Star Trek micro machines. Well, now I just print them and I paint them myself. So it's nice because I can make battle damage. I can make whatever version of the ship I wanted. Now, granted, do I still have the micro machines? I have all 4 collector sets sitting up there still in the box. Don't ask me how I've managed to do that. I still don't know how I have managed to not get them out and play with them. But they're sitting up here on the shelves in their box. I'm looking kind of excited too, because we're going to Atlanta this weekend. So I'm hoping to get to go to Hobbytown, USA and get some more toys. Because if you guys saw the YouTube short, I showed my wall of shame of model kits I have just got to get to work on. The one I'm currently working on is the USS Alabama, and it is taking me way longer than I thought for its diorama base and its actual build. It's taking quite some time to build it. But we're moving right along with it. All right. I actually want to try. Do I want to try the new contrast paint? I just don't think it's going to sit down the way I need it to. Choices, gentlemen, on how I want to do this. I think what I'm actually going to do is go with a very light brown on these yellow sections. I'm going to go with the AK light brown. As a base coat to bring the actual yellow over it. That way the yellow doesn't have to work so hard to actually shine through and get in there. So one thing I do want to say while I work on this is everybody that has subscribed, joined, watched the channel this year, it is greatly appreciated. It still warms my heart to see that we went over 6,000 subscribers this year. The next year, this coming year's goal, I'd love to see 10,000. So we're going to kind of start trying to hope to build to get to that 10,000 level this next year. Because my hope is between the membership, if you haven't considered joining the membership, go take a look. You get all kinds of cool features and stuff and things from me, including discounts on my store. So as far as StarCraft, we're just working on this guy. We're working on a Space Marine right now. I've got a Sarah Kerrigan figurine as well I need to start painting on. So we'll hopefully work on that at the beginning of the year too. Um, but yeah, I was just kind of starting to have some fun with StarCraft. I don't know why I got back into playing the original StarCraft here. I've been watching a lot of the StarCraft 2 esports stuff going, how can people do this? Because I can't play that fast and that much. So it's just kind of StarCraft's piqued my interest here lately. And that's why we've got some of the StarCraft stuff going on. I think it was only in the last stream I started working on it. And I'd only done the blue work on him. So we haven't gotten very far. And even right now, I'm not too worried about my brush strokes because this is just kind of an underlayer to kind of give the yellow a chance over the gray. And I'll have to let this dry to work it. But like I said, guys, I know this is a flawed print, and I'm purposely working with it flawed. I'm purposely wanting the flaws in it because I'm going to turn that into grime and battle damage on here too. Is kind of the hope. But this base was just kind of a last minute spur of, you know, I probably can do something better than just a wooden block and a base. But Juan Fast, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, StarCraft 2 is good. I still like StarCraft 1. I wish they had gone more into the human UED story. I wish they had been more than just getting wiped out, but you know, they can only write so much stuff. But I've been getting back into that. I've been playing some Warhammer 40k Dawn of War because Soulstorm and all that have the Crucible mod, which kind of has some fun stuff to it. Adds more factions and different things like that to play. So kind of been playing with that some too. All right, quick nitty gritty color scheme onto that. What I'll do probably before next stream is I'll come in with the airbrush with some blacks and some charcoals and some smokes and really pull that in there. Oh yes, the super-sized resin printer. I love my super-sized resin printer because that super-sized resin printer has given us the next model that we're doing. And I know you haven't been around much, Wanafast, so I'll grab it real quick. And actually, the poll is still technically open till the 1st, but that 16-inch Enterprise E is currently the winner, leading right now. But we also have the refit Constitution class 16-inch. These are all printed in one piece. These were printed together at the same time. These together were a 75-hour-long print. Let me tell you, I was chomping at the bit. That printer did both of these at the same time. And you guys can just see the detail, especially in the refit. I mean, just has gorgeous detail to it. It's going to be an excellent one. Even the Enterprise E Sovereign class here got a lot of excellent detail. They need some sanding. But right now, the Sovereign class Enterprise E is on the winner's list of the next big model we're going to do next, which is actually really cool with me because I have the Enterprise E model kit as well. The recent one from Polar Lights that I want to, it used, both of them together used 1.65 kilogram of resin. So not even 2 bottles was used on both of them. And a lot of that, about 20% of that was all supports that unfortunately got discarded. I don't really discard the supports. I put them aside because they can be awesome for building terrain scenes and stuff like that. So I do hold on to a lot of the resin support. I'll wash and cure and kind of make a bale of it, and kind of hold on to it. So the vat holds 2 kilograms. So it'll hold 2 bottles. And I am one of those fly-by-wire, I'll hit pause and I'll pour more in if I need to. If you go out and check the Instagram for the Doom guy, he took 3.5 bottles of resin to print him. He was $120 print just in resin. He was $120. I don't want to do that one again unless someone's paying me right off the bat a deposit for that much. Upcycling and kit bashing, because WannaFast, we've done a lot of kit bashing lately. So I'm going to set this to the side to let this dry and start its initial kind of let that go before I start really kind of bringing in the brighter yellows, maybe even some highlight red into it. So I want to keep those bottles out. Once I have the screen protector, next year we'll see a lot more airbrushing. This guy will get unfolded. We'll have the airbrush station, but I want to make sure my monitor that's right here is protected, and I've got a privacy screen coming to do that. But WannaFast, this has been the true work lately. We've got it grimed, degrimed, weathered. Yeah, I'd say we're almost done with this. I got to do the bottom of her. But next week, the first stream of the year will be the last stream for that ship. Even with a few casualties along the way of me snapping some guns and I don't even go there. I'm still mad about that. So we've got a lot coming into the circuit this next year, with printing. The model channel will get started. So we'll start seeing the model kits. Yeah, busy's. I'm always busy. I've always got something going on. I am a crazy, crazy guy. I just don't sleep. Well, I sleep, but not as much as I should. But we've got a lot going into it. A lot still kind of being worked on. But let's get some of this tan actually onto that Zerg. Because 1, it's in my wet palette. 2, I want to start kind of basing in the dead Zerg. Probably a Hydralisk, judging by the pattern of it, under this Marine's boot. Kind of start letting this lighter tan sit in underneath. It's going to take a couple coats to get the tan to really pull and brown, but let's get a base coat of tan in there. I'm loving the color I chose to start detailing the creep. I used the Screamer Pink from Citadel, and the blue of the armor is the base McCrag blue from Citadel. I mean, that's the only 2 colors that are on here till I started putting this tan on here, to allow the model to have some work. I'm gonna probably come in with some Mechanicum gray to really kind of start pulling into it. The Mechanicum gray will just kind of give a dull gray look, and the dark silver for the metallic parts, I think is going to do just a lot of really nice work to it. And then when I come in here with the creepy green for its eyes, I think it's just going to start looking really, really cool. It'll be purple. It'll be a purple membrane with a greenish highlight for its eye. But I'm just going to do this base quick coat of this tan to start kind of throwing some of the color on. I'm gonna have to come back with a couple coats of color to really kind of pull the Zerg out. This is more just a initial base highlighting to let the tan build up on it. A layer approach works really well with these kind of things. If you try just to get it the color the first layer, you've slopped on too much paint. Thin coats are your friend. Unless you're doing McCrack blue, then slop it on. But you can always start off light and come back in darker. So don't hesitate to use your paint. And play with colors. So my goal for this model, I'm going to keep this into 7 colors. That's my goal. Will I keep that goal? Probably not. But my goal is to try to keep this down to a minimum set of colors. One, so I can reproduce it, because this model, it's a really nice print. You can do this with like a Mono X, anything that's like a 9-inch printer. You can do this in one print, which is what I've done here. I've done this in one print. It worked really well. I've actually got a second one out there because I had someone ask me about it. That is curing right now. And then you guys saw the zenithaling underneath with the white primer, kind of giving some really good contrast to it. But I'm just kind of using this tan to start pulling the color of the Zerg out. The black is acting differently underneath the brown than the white is, which gives it more highlights. Means less work for me. AK is a really good brand, which is the color I'm using here. Citadel, I like working with them. I love Monument Hobby. The Pro Acryl paints work really, really well. If you guys have a chance to go check out Monument Hobby, you should. Their paint sets are not a really bad price and can really kind of do some cool work with. The Mono X sitting for... My Mono X has been sitting for a year too. Ever since I got these frozen machines, because I have the frozen Mega 8Ks and I have the Mighty 8Ks. These things work just like butter, man. I fought the Mono X, fought the Mono X, fought the M3 Max. I finally figured out my M3 Max doesn't have a straight plate, so I've ordered a new plate. It's on its way. So hopefully by beginning of the year, I might have my M3 working properly, which would be great to have that additional 13-inch printer in the fold. But in all honesty, I'm not happy with Anycubic. The frozen machines I've got and the relationship I built with frozen, I'm sold. I rarely, now that's not saying I don't get a fail. I get fails. I get fails with a frozen machine. But in all honesty, I get less. And it's worked out really, really well to not have that problem. But it's just kind of one of those things you got to kind of balance what you're looking at. And for me, the frozens are just, my profile is spot on. They're working great. And I'm just having a lot of success with them. Where the Anycubic machines have been a constant fight ever since I got them. I use Shinto Box Pro. A lot of people tell me I need to go Lynchy. And, you know, I'm in Shinto Box Pro. My stuff works. My profiles for my frozen machines are zeroed in. The only time I really have a fail from a zero machine or from a frozen machine is because I've been printing too many times and there's particulate in the bay and I need to clean it out and I didn't get it, or the model just is crap. Want to fast those, you may want to consider selling the Mono X and go for a Mighty 8K, because the Mighty 8K out on Amazon's are like $500. or in that area, depending on the sale. And now with them being on Amazon, it's free shipping. So the cost is tremendously reduced in those frozen Mighties. And the Mighties are the same size as the Mono, or actually a little bit bigger than the Mono X. They're a 10-inch. So they're a really good machine to take a look at. I'm really impressed. The app for the camera, I've been kind of poking at them about that. It's coming. They found a flaw and they had to go back to the drawing board with it a little bit. So hopefully they're still pressing to get the app to control the Mighty 8K. And I love the Mighty 8K because it's network, it has Wi-Fi and you can connect it to your network and you have your USB drive in there and it creates it as a shared drive. So I can sit here at my computer down in my office, down at the other side of the house, slice it all, send it to the USB drive and go upstairs and go boop. And let it go. There's some people that love the Mono X's. They love them. They absolutely think they walk on water. I'm not one of them. I have not been impressed. I feel like I've wasted more money trying to get it to work than actually getting it to work. Where I just bought 20 bottles of resin for my frozen. The frozen 8K resin is great. The frozen 4K resin is great. I'm about to test out the speed resin, which is supposed to let you print really fast. So I'm really kind of curious to see how that goes. Let's be honest, we just got a lot coming up this year. A lot coming up in this new year. And I plan to maintain the same schedule. If anything, I want to get more live streams going. If I can. I want to get the other channel going. That is a big goal this year. And guys, go check out rise3dprintingshop.com, where I'm selling some of the stuff that I've printed and just, it needs to find a new home. So definitely go check that out. I'm about ready to launch my new bio site for Instagram and all that. That'll take you to my bio that has my email address, links to YouTube, all that jazz, to try to pull more people over to the site. We've got big things in store for this coming year, and I'm really hoping I can continue doing the teaching, maybe even get to a point where I'm more focused on being able to teach. The 3D scanner is going to become a must-use this year. Fusion 360 is going to become a must-teach this year, as I'm even doing deep dives into it myself. I'm trying to get better at designing my own stuff. And just kind of my goal is to put more focus into the channel and this business this year and do more stuff. So definitely, if you guys can, go check out the membership. The join button should just be down just below the stream here. Go check that out. Consider joining, become a member, help us grow, become better. And unfortunately, like I said, I do have to keep the stream down to an hour tonight, and I've already run over. Woohoo! FreeCAD is pretty close to Fusion 360. I'm more on the Fusion 360 side right now because of the business requirement. FreeCAD kind of kicks my butt there. So to be legal, I want to make sure I'm using a fully licensed software, and that's kind of what I'm doing fast with that one, is to make sure I'm keeping it all legal. So hooray, legality. But guys, I do appreciate everybody that came and joined the stream tonight. I know we were off from our usual schedule. Hopefully we'll be back to the normal Tuesday on, I think, the 3rd. Will hopefully be the first stream. We don't have any more technical issues that knock us out like we had yesterday. And yeah, we'll keep painting on this wonderful Space Marine, and we'll start doing more stuff. So we'll start getting those Sovereign classes. I'll hopefully have that finished sanding and have it primed for the next stream when we start out the new year. Happy New Year, guys. I hope you have a good one, and we will catch you guys in the next stream. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. That helps us out and lets people, YouTube, get this stream out to more people, and we'll catch you guys next year. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I greatly appreciate it.